is what you hear, is what you think, is who you are. Breathe it in and listen up, I know you're reaching for a star. If you believe it, you can achieve it, becoming who you are. 'Cause you're the vision you created and you gotta take it far. Love is all you are. Love, erase the scar. Love is all you are. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Love is all you are. Love, erase the scar. Love is all you are. Let it go, let it go, let it go. What you knew is what you did, is what you thought, is who you were. Falling down and getting up, internal sound, the past is blurred. What you become is who you are, is what you think, is how you live. Love comes from within, so give. Whoa, oh, oh. Love is all you are. Love, erase the scar. Love is all you are. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Love is all you are. Love, erase the scar. Love is all you are. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Thank you. Blessings. Love, love, love.
Thank you, Reverend Emmanuel Yerna, and welcome to First Unity Spiritual Campus. Welcome to all of you here with us physically in the sanctuary, and welcome to all of you at home online. So let's give our online viewers, maybe turn around, they might see you. Stand up, they might see you. They might recognize you too. All right, welcome. So I am Aileen Curtin, one of the ministers here. Reverend John Scott is our senior spiritual leader. He's over there. And I'd love to invite the spiritual support team members that are here with us this morning. This is Reverend Mickey Sheridan. This is Chaplain Lily Lightbridge. We are also the spiritual support team. We're here to pray with you, hold space with you. We also have prayer intentions online. You can go, there's a little tab that you can follow. So anything that you need in terms of prayer, we are here to support you. So thank you both for being here. Just silence your cell phone if you haven't already done so. If you're at home, if you're driving and watching this, please keep your eyes on the road. Otherwise, wouldn't be a good idea. So we're going to open the sacred centering time. I'm going to invite Reverend Mickey Sheridan to come up, and then I'm going to follow with a meditation and prayer.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Happy day. I feel so excited to be here. I had such an exciting day yesterday. I'll be quick. My granddaughter's 11, and she played her violin at the McAfee Theater yesterday. Wow. It was so awesome because she's in elementary, so it was the 3 levels, and it was packed. It was just the energy I just cannot even describe. The elementary went, and then the middle school, and then the high school. yeah, anyway. So I'm still kind of buzzed from that. Anyway, I chose for the reading today from Science of Mind. And for the month of February, it's called Radical Interconnection. And I loved the reading today on Sunday, February 9th. That doesn't always work my way, but it did. So when I read in advance, I went, this is so perfect. So as we prepare for the reading and the meditation, it's really nice to just sort of get quiet and go within so you can receive the power of these words. So the title of this is A United State of Consciousness. So just the title just really made me feel really warm. So I like to breathe that in. A united state of consciousness. And the affirmation is, I live, move, and have my being in the divine. I allow the divine to live, move, and have its being in and as me. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, from his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, says, it's quite possible that there will come such a sense of personal wholeness that you will find it difficult to want anything. And then Ernest Holmes from Science of Mind says, this self is united with all selves, but is always an individual and a unique self. And then the author of the reading inside says, having a radical shift in consciousness brings us to the awareness that we are all connected energetically and physically. Today, we dedicate ourselves to living from a united state of consciousness, conscious that we are united in one power, one present, one life. And I like that recognition, so I want to say it again. One power, one presence, one life. It is in this united state of consciousness that we get to see people as they truly are. We only see them as they truly are. We also accept them where they are, no matter what. People are on their own path, taking the path at their own pace. What you and I are called to do is to see them as their most divine and brilliant selves. Every experience we have offers us an opportunity to love, forgive, and accept. Every experience is an opportunity to see life from a united state of consciousness. In other words, every experience is an opportunity to express the divine. I like to breathe that in. To express the divine. Gently blow that out. Express the divine. Today is the day to see life in a whole new way. Seeing through the eyes of love, we choose to see that everything is connected to everything else. Seeing life in this way allows us to live from a united state of consciousness. Remember, we are all in this together, for there's only one life. Let's live this life in a grand way. Affirmation. I live, move, and have my being in the divine. I allow the divine to live, move, and have its being in and as me, a united state of consciousness. I love all of you. Thank you. And so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Mickey. So as we move into our meditation time, you might call it prayer time. It matters not. It just matters that during this time, for the next 4 to 5 minutes, we are going to connect to that divinity, that source, that consciousness that is deep within us. And just like a bird needs 2 wings to fly, so too does spirit need meditation. It has 2 wings as we connect the wisdom of the mind with the gratitude of the heart. also compassion of the heart. So as I invite the bells here now, this is awakening your soul, your divinity, that we are going to connect here to that oneness, that source, that is always who we are, beyond all outside appearances of whatever is happening. So I'm going to invite us into 3 cleansing breaths together here. Inhaling, lengthening, drawing the breath, the energy all the way up. Holding at the top and sighing and exhaling and letting go. Taking another, prepare to inhale, fill up. Exhale and let go. Releasing doubts, worries, fears. One more time, taking an inhale breath. Exhaling and letting go. So maybe now you are closing your outer eyes or keeping them at a soft gaze, whatever is comfortable for you. Noticing your body temple here in this moment. Noticing any tensions, tightness. This creates the barriers or the blocks to us experiencing the divinity of who we are. Noticing now as you breathe your own way, noticing where your exhale breath moves. Can you move your exhale breath into any tightness or tension? The areas of your body that you know oh so well. Maybe now noticing a relaxed heaviness coming over your shoulders, your arms. As your body is now moving into rest and digest here. Preparing the way inside to the sanctuary, the safety, the security, where you can rest and move and have your being right here in this present moment. So the physical body is now ready. Now checking in with the screen of your mind, the space between your eyebrows, noticing here. If you're in a place of no thought, just simply being, moving, experiencing, being the witness, the awareness, maybe that you are having thoughts, but you are not your thoughts. Just simply noticing. And then you can stay here in your third eye, your spiritual eye, or maybe drop to your heart space. If you like to pray in your own way, maybe listening to that soft voice of the God of your understanding. So now you have arrived, you are home. So just rest here. and feeling the essence, the oneness, the divinity of who you are. Noticing your breath, and noticing now how here you are balancing the wisdom of the mind with the compassion of your heart. Maybe noticing here if you're holding on to something from your past, regret or resentments, or maybe something in the future which will take you to worry, anxiety, can you just come back to this present moment and feeling this aliveness? This is who you are. Totally free, totally present in this moment. Feeling this love, this unconditional love that is now radiating out from your heart. Sending it now ahead of you, maybe to situations or any events that you would like to send your energy and your love, maybe to someone in need, someone you love. And in honor of this day here and this month that we celebrate Black History Month, I'd like to share these affirmations here. If you would like to affirm these in your heart. Connecting to our ancestors, all of those who have gone before us. We cherish our oneness with those around us and the countless generations that have gone before us. They are with us still. We share a history with those lives, and we belong to the same motions. We, the living, carry them with us. We carry forth the work that they did that brought us forward. We are their voices, their hands, their hearts. We take them with us, and they help us. They show us the way forward, always. So maybe now moving into giving thanks and gratitude. As we now slowly bring our awareness back to this space, this place, Slowly coming back into our bodies, but keeping our eyes closed for just a few moments. Beginning to feel that aliveness, the energy, maybe hugging yourself, knowing that we are never alone. We are part of the great movement forward of a consciousness that is always moving us forward, reminding us who we are. Maybe bringing your hands together in prayer position as you slowly bow, connect the wisdom of the mind to the compassion of the heart. And slowly beginning to open up our eyes now as we look around the room and see the light, the divinity that we are all connected to. And until we meet each other again, the divine light within me truly honors, sees the divine light in each and every one of you. Namaste.
Namaste. And to you as well, Reverend Aileen. Good morning, family. It is Black History Month, and today is a day we've decided here at First Unity to set aside more of our intention and activity to see that, embrace it, and be grateful for it. One of the voices of progress during the time of the Civil Rights Movement was an individual named James Baldwin. Some of you may be familiar with James Baldwin, who was such a tremendous creative mind. And he said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. This is the feeling that we sometimes get when we feel hopeless. And the truth is, you're never hopeless. You may feel helpless at times, but never hopeless. And don't allow anything to take your hope. And Dr. King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I'm going to try not to be too emotional today. Good luck, right? I'm already an emotional individual. But when Reverend Mickey read her title, I think I started growing hair here. That's the plus to goosebumps, right? Now, what was the title again? United State of Consciousness. And it was radical interconnectedness. That was the line. You're not going to believe this, or you will. The title of my talk today is The Radical Power of Oneness. And how it is used and abused in New Thought circles to bypass. We're one, so racism's not real. No, it's not. In the grand scheme, it's not, but it is felt. It is experienced by people who are oppressed through racism. We're all one, so homophobia is not real. In the grand scheme of the celestials, no, it's a creation of human beings. But it's still felt by people who experience it. We're all one, so human trafficking's not real. Let's just don't think about it and it'll go away. And that it's happening every day, especially on days like today. The Super Bowl happens to be one of the spaces where a lot of that transpires. And we like to ignore it because we'd rather watch people run around chasing a pigskin and ignore the fact that it's happening in our world. Well, we're all one, so whoever's president doesn't matter. But those presidential decisions sure affect people who are not just spiritual beings, but human beings and psychological beings. But let me tell you, there's a difference between power and greatness. Can I say that again? There's a difference between power and greatness. And greatness is not measured by the power that you wield. Measuring greatness is more by the good effect, the positive effect that you make on humanity while you're here. And power just comes with titles. And people who wield it to harm others have no idea what greatness is. And no matter how much they try to tell themselves and others that they're great, the greatness is in them. It's possible. But greatness is not measured by how much power you have. Greatness is really measured by your ability to utilize your power to make the world a better place to live for everyone. That's what greatness is measured by. So I want to chat with us for a few moments today, and I do want to make a disclaimer up front. These views are not necessarily the views of the board or the leadership or the spiritual support team or the music team of First Unity Spiritual Campus, because if I want you to blame anyone for discomfort today, you can lay that blame at my doorstep. I'm okay with that. This last week, I felt a complete shift within my being towards stepping into a boldness that I have not ever experienced in my life. We stand on the precipice of some real change in this world, and until we're willing to be a voice for that change, the status quo is going to continue. I think a lot of the things that I've shared since the beginning of this year have possibly led toward a foundation for this talk today. So maybe you won't be surprised. But if you are surprised, I have already alerted my family members that pushback is possible. But I've never experienced a really quality push-up without some pushback. And if you really start to land in the spirit of the truth of who you are, you become almost like Chuck Norris. They said Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups, he does earth downs. I want to share with us a little bit about the radical world-shifting implications of true oneness. Really understanding what it means. At the heart, I'm probably going to read today because I've sat with this all week, every day this week. I didn't lose any sleep over it, though, because I know this is a mandate. I know it more than anything I can tell you that I have personally ever known in the ministry time that I've had in 30 years of ministry, that this is a mandate. It's a heavy mandate. At the heart of unity and new thought principles and philosophies is the principle of oneness. It's the idea that all of life is interconnected and arises from one single consciousness, a divine consciousness. It's the belief that we're all emanations and manifestations of the one source of life. But oneness is not passive. It is not weak, and oneness is not always nice. It is kind, but niceness is fake. Niceness is surface. Kindness, the root for kindness is the word kin, where there's a recognition that we are kin. It's more than just a feel-good philosophy. It is a radical, world-disrupting, power-challenging force. And it threatens the foundation of injustice. And this is why the attempts to silence it are happening right now. Oneness is not a philosophy that's adopted to shroud prejudice and privilege. Like, well, oppression isn't happening because we are one. In other words, you're not feeling the pain of racism, sexism, homophobia, families being torn apart because they're Mexican, etc. So it's no big deal. It's not real. I can just ignore it. That's actually called whiteness. Can I help us on Black History Celebration Day? That's really called whiteness. And I'm not dogging you because you're white. Look at me. I mean, this revelation of understanding white privilege for this guy, I'm like, have you seen how white I am? I'm even redheaded and freckle-faced. That's how white I am. Unless I get out in the sun in Florida, I'm almost translucent. But that's called whiteness. It's a privilege that we're born with that we don't realize that we have. I didn't realize I had it for many, many years. And then I started turning towards self-hatred about being white. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like I have a disease for being white. Until I realized that's not it at all. That's not even the request. The desire is not for you to hate yourself, but it's for you to recognize the position that you have and help others to be lifted to a higher level of equity, not just equality. There is a difference. So oneness, it is a disruptive belief system because it stands in the face of all of these systems that have been built to oppress others. Oneness isn't an escape into your privileged space. It is a radical way of being and living. It is dangerous to those who depend on division and hate. It is subversive to those who wield power through fear. It is revolutionary and evolutionary to systems that are propped up by the illusion of separation. Oneness is the most radical way we can live. And it doesn't insulate us or isolate us. It does the opposite. It takes the insulation off and the isolation away, and it invites us into a space that's going to make us feel pretty damn uncomfortable. Everybody okay? You still love me? So number one, and I don't know if I'll get through this today. There may be a part two, and we'll see what the crowd looks like. One, true oneness destroys the ignorant and the weak, fear-based view of God. True oneness, it gets rid of, destroys, and dismantles the theologies and the dogmas, the ignorant and the weak, fear-based view of God. I want to announce to you today and make it loud and clear going over the airwaves that big, angry ogre in the sky is dead. And in fact, never really existed. It's a lie propagated by religion to control the masses. It was the way that Constantine, along with the bishops and the popes of his time, the pope of his time, could merge a kingdom to create world domination. And it has worked very well. It has been injected into the veins of humanity. And I'm telling you, the game is off. The drug is wearing off. And as the drug wears off, we're waking up. And as we're waking up, we're starting to realize that for generations and millennia, we have been drugged with the drug of religion. As Lenin said, the greatest drug is religion. So today, I declare that true oneness dismantles and destroys any religious system that claims exclusivity, that claims a God of unconditional love but rejects the weak, the poor, the homeless, the minority, and those who are non-white, trans, gay, etc. Oneness dismantles any religion that wants to use its power of the government to force others to abide by its preferences. It dismantles any religion that uses threats as an imaginary hell to psychologically manipulate people to join or to pay for and perpetuate their cult. Oneness dismantles any religion that claims to protect children but has been the haven for more sexual abuse of children than any other group in the world, while ignoring human trafficking and in turn supporting those who have been not only accused but convicted of sexual crimes. It dismantles any religion that positions its God as contrary to nature. Oneness dismantles any religion that moves to ban books about history in order to cover up its inability to face the truth about its history. Oneness dismantles any religion that endorses an end-of-the-world scenario where God gets to kill billions of unbelievers to make the world a better place for us. True oneness dismantles these systems. that have held people in oppression for generations and millennia. Is it hard to hear? Well, you know what? We may not be able to change everything we face, but we'll never change what we choose not to face. And in 2025, it's hard for me to believe that we even have to share these kind of messages. But we do. I realize now that I've been through this 20-year journey of unlearning and deprogramming and allowing the removal of this religious bigotry that was installed in me. I realize now that I've had 20 years to detox for this very moment. And I believe that there's a community of people here who have said we'll not allow anger to lead to malice or hatred, but we will allow anger to fill up the fuel tanks of this vehicle that is intentionally moving forward in love, joy, peace, equality, inclusion, and a radical view of a bigger and a better vision and version of God than what has been propagated on humanity. Our traditional religious structures depict a God that is separate from humanity, a being who judges, rewards, and punishes. But oneness obliterates that idea. If God is not separate from us, and God is in us as us, then we are no longer wrestling with a deity outside of us, but we are challenged to locate the power that is within us that brings us to that higher understanding. But here's the problem. It takes away the scapegoat of God did it or the devil did it, and most people want a reaction and not responsibility. Oneness introduces us so starkly to this inescapable unification between humanity and divinity that it makes it impossible for us to continue living in the way we've been living. You see, consciousness is everything. Consciousness is everywhere. It's everywhere and in everything all at once. There is no fall from grace, only forgetting who we really are. Any fall is in the mind, not in reality. These theological implications are radical. This new way of seeing God is radical because they tell us that there is no need for external salvation, and religion thrives on you moving toward external salvation and paying for it dearly, not with just your money, but with the stress that leads you toward fight, flight, or freeze. Because if they can keep you in fight, flight, and freeze, they can keep you from thinking with your creativity and with your imagination and keep you from operating from your divinity. You don't need salvation because you're already divine. Therefore, there's no need for religious control through fear. And if that happens, game over for the multi-trillion-dollar industry that literally props itself up with the propaganda that you need something and we have the secret. Pay us for it. True oneness directly threatens religious dogma. And any religious dogma ultimately leads to rabies. And if we can keep you sick, afraid, insecure, living in fear, we can unify you around the common enemy. And they found that it's much easier to unify people around a common enemy than it is around commonality. True oneness transcends the idol and the drug addiction to God. It's hard. It is hard to challenge yourself to move past what you've always believed was true. But it is what trailblazers do. It is what pioneers do. It is what people do when they really finally realize who they are and decide collectively as one voice to stand up for the truth. Well, I, for one, am not afraid of this administration. I am not afraid of this regime. I am not afraid of what's happening in the world where people are trying to be silenced or people are trying to silence others. I have no fear here because my life has already been laid down. You can't make a dead man afraid. And the call is for us to stop talking it and start walking it. While we always remember that what we see manifest through other beings is not the truth of who they are, it's the lie that they have bought into and the consumption of their very soul. But here's the thing, my friends, can I tell you something that radically messed with me this last week? I got to tell you, my wife will tell you, I have gotten really weird lately. And I'm not even trying to. You thought I was weird up till now. I've gotten really strange. Because my wife dreams all of the time. But she'll tell you, I say to her, that's very interesting because I don't dream, and I'm having them now. And I'm having visitations. Oh my gosh, here we go. I'm going to make myself sound even more crazy. That I never dreamed of before. And I hope I've built enough trust with you for you to know this is not how I normally talk. This is not who I normally am. I'm not into the woo-woo. I was involved with so much of that in the Christian world, the charismatic world I grew up in. I mean, every Sunday somebody had a prophecy and somebody was fighting with the devil. It was every Sunday. And it was all the time around me, so I rejected it. I passed it off. I pushed it aside. But now I'm having these holy visitations that I cannot describe to you other than it's complete and total love. It's a light that I've never seen before in my life because the light that we experience in our earth experience is not to be looked at. It's what we utilize to see. But this light that I'm having a visitation from, I can look right into and not be blinded. And it is asking me to no longer be quiet, to make a declaration that we're going to have those who are awake and those who are the walking dead simultaneously at one time in what's becoming a split earth. Because heaven and earth will pass away, but my word, this is scripture, my word will never pass away, and the word there is logic. The logic of God will never pass away. Here we are in the circulation of something fresh and new. And this is why we're hearing the mandate, stop trying to save a world that's already dead. Create a new one. And those who cannot come along, please understand, many of them have already turned off their humanity. Many of them have decided to not be human. So we send them love, and we don't wish violence toward them or hatred toward them, but we don't have time to be caught in the fight of the things that we see going on around us. It's time for us to put our eye on the prize and recognize our calling, that we are a holy priesthood, a holy generation, a peculiar people, set apart to follow through with our divine mandate. I'm almost done. I'll try to come back to this next week if I feel directed. Number 2, oneness redefines diversity, identity, and individualism. I have realized that this Western culture has taught us that we are separate, that we're self-contained, that we are individuals, that we are independent. And yet, you can't breathe without the help of a tree. And if we're so independent, then why is it that you wear a mask when somebody else has COVID or the flu? You're so dependent and so connected that you even catch their viruses. I breathe in and I breathe out, and I share that with the rest of the world. I'm not independent, I'm also not codependent, but I am interdependent. I'm a part of the divine dance of this life force that we all emanate and manifest from. So we're redefining what diversity is. See, diversity would be division in higher consciousness, but higher consciousness is revealing itself through its diverse ways of being and showing up. In men and in women, in blue eyes and brown hair, in red hair and not much hair. It's diversity in dogs and cats and different types of birds and species, and yet it's all an emanation and a manifestation of the very same life force. Oneness invites us into a very radical way to see a shattering of the illusion of our separation. Religion wants you separate. Republicans want you separate from Democrats, and Democrats from Republicans. We've been lied to about the rest of the world. We've been lied to about our Arab brothers and sisters, our African brothers and sisters, our German brothers and our European brothers and sisters. We've been lied to about the rest of the world because there was a need to prop up. The agenda required separation. There is no such thing as a well-traveled bigot. But if you stay in your bubble, bigotry grows. This world was created by God. Just because there's other languages, other types of food, and other types of expressions, it doesn't mean that you're better and someone is worse. I'm seeing some of these intelligent. Did you see the Arab prince this last week, a letter that he wrote to our United States government? Read it, and you find Gandhi in there. You find Martin Luther King Jr. in there. You find Wayne Dyer in there. You hear higher consciousness in there, but if it's held back from you, you don't believe it. You believe they're all terrorists. And this is what is needed to keep our separation. It's what's needed for the ego of we're better than everyone else. Folks, we need to wake up. We have our own homegrown terrorism that's in the name of God and quoting Bible scripture. Because any group that can harm another in the name of God does not know God. When we understand that only oneness is, that there's only one thing happening, we can see that we no longer have to call you and me, us and them. We simply understand that we are a part of the whole, infinite, expressing itself, and we use terms like diversity because we see the variety. The implication here is that there's no such thing as the other. Pat yourself on the chest and say, there's no such thing as the other. And that can make it hard. Oh, that can make it hard because now you have to be able to try to look past Nazis to look for Christ. And sometimes you feel like you need a jackhammer to get this excavation to try to locate because it feels like it's concretized. This is what's hard about oneness. If we really believe it, then it's inviting us to not allow hatred to come up in us toward others who have a different belief system than we do. But it's also inviting us to recognize that there's no separation so that we lift our voice for oneness. And we remind ourselves and everyone else around us that those Mexican people who've become the galvanizing group of hatred to blame for every problem we have in this country are not our enemies. They're our family. They're our kindred. They're our brothers and sisters. And it's time for us to call it out. Any system that oppresses any group of people is not operating
under the direction of the divine. It's the opposite. This means this rugged individualism that we think we have is a lie. Independence and codependence give way to interdependence, the circle dance of the divine. If we are radically interconnected, then personal success, personal wealth, and personal enlightenment are incomplete unless they serve the whole. If we are radically interconnected, then the demonizing and dehumanizing of any other is actually self-harm. Today, those children, those men and women who will be trafficked for the pleasure of other people, they are you, and you are them. The families that have been separated from each other as ICE agents have run into our schools to take children out of elementary school because they don't think their paperwork is complete. The Native Americans in this country who have been targeted and arrested simply because their skin was dark, they were the people who were here before any white people showed up. If anyone's a citizen, they are. And yet they've been targeted, and that system that targets them is actually self-harm. Will you allow yourself to feel it? Will you allow enough of your humanity to wake up where you feel it? I know it's hard. It's hard to look in the mirror and realize that our inaction has created more space for those kinds of actions. But if we really say love is who we are, we got to do something. Not just say words. There is an evolutionary upgrade attempting to be born, and it's inviting us all into the shift. But if you decide you're not going to move into the shift, then you're just going to get shifted on. And it's going to create more pain for you. But the invitation is to be born again so that you can see the kingdom of God that is within you and take that authority to stand up, even in the face of threats, and say, no, not here, not now. We choose to live our motto that love is who I am. It's not something I say, it's who I am. That's all I got for today. Thank you.
Good morning, family. I'm ready. Are y'all ready for Super Bowl? Look, I have the Falcons on. I know they're not playing, but John and I, we like the Falcons, so go Falcons. All right, just a couple quick announcements. Thursday evening meditation with Reiki is here in our sanctuary, 6 p.m. This week is facilitated by Emmanuel, and he's with us today. So last Monday, I sent out a e-blast about a text message campaign. We're going to be launching that starting next Monday. If you did not get it, don't panic. I'm going to resend the email again. If you don't receive our emails, you can easily just see me in the lobby after service, and I'll sign you guys up manually. midday Q&A with John and Carrie. I don't know if anyone was on Facebook this past Thursday around noon, but John and I, we decided to try something different. This is basically where we'll just kind of answer a couple questions that have been emailed in from our community. We just kind of have some tea and chat. It's a lot of fun. So if you're on Facebook around noon on Thursdays, join us. The Unity Voices are holding a bake sale today, but they won't have it fully set up until after the 11 a.m. service. I know they're going to do another one in March, the first weekend in March, so I'll make sure that that bake sale is ready to go for this service as well. Our Spring Spirit Expressing is going to be launching in the next couple weeks. Today is the day to sign up if you are interested in being a host. Basically, you will choose a location and a time off-site of this campus to host a group of however many you prefer to keep or however many you prefer to have. You can also do a Zoom group if you prefer that. There's a sign-up sheet in the lobby. You can sign up for to be a group host. The Leo Full Moon Drum Circle and Sound Bath Meditation is Wednesday, February 12th at 5:30 on Treasure Island Beach. That is also hosted and facilitated by Emmanuel, so bring your drums or other instruments. Our Oneness and Social Justice team is going to be meeting on Thursday, February 13th at 7 p.m. in our hall. I know Reverend John is going to be attending that meeting as well because they're going to be giving some pretty awesome updates on FAST and, of course, building on our community food bank that we're wanting to partner with Elam on. The annual business meeting, this is a big one, guys, is on Sunday, the 23rd at 2 p.m. in the sanctuary. So that's directly following the celebration service. You can take a break, get some food, and come back. We're going to be discussing the highlights of 2024, celebrating milestones, all of our awesome events that we put on throughout the year, community growth, and more. So everyone's welcome. Make your plans to be there. And then last but not least, we have Jesse Powers live in person here in our sanctuary on Friday, February 21st at 7 p.m. Yep. There's a suggested donation of $10, but everyone is welcome. She puts on a pretty awesome show. So if you don't have anything going on that night, we'd love to see you here. And then also, if you haven't signed up for newsletters, like I said, we have a lot going on. You can do that at firstunity.org. I love you guys.
Thank you, Carrie. Lovely. Thank you all. Thank you all. I love you. Now it's time for our generosity practice. One of the things that I really believe is that, actually, I was talking to Brandon about this before service, and he was telling me about some of the studies that are out in terms of giving and in terms of even people who make exchanges, for instance, for counseling or for therapy, things like that. He said that the studies that are out, and they've done multiple studies, and all the metrics are out there, that people who don't pay for or make an exchange for their therapy or counseling, they have 45% less value in their life that shows up. 45% less success because there's not an exchange being made. There's something about an exchange. And so today, as you consider an exchange for the spiritual nutrition that you get from this place, Brandon, what was it? I'm putting you on the spot here. Something that you said, and it just came to you. You have the talk back mic. And what was it that you said? I said I was going to steal it, but.
Oh, there we go. I think I said, if you don't put value into something, you will not experience the value of that thing.
Yeah. If you don't put value into something, you won't experience the whole value of that thing. And so consider that as you're giving today, that when I give, I'm actually enacting the law of circulation, but I'm also investing in something that's bigger than me and something that is for not just myself, but others. And I'm going to get back even more value from it. So consider as you plant that seed today, as you decide to tithe or to give an offering to this community, that's what you're doing, and you're giving into fertile soil so that we can continue this message of radical inclusion and love. The ways to give are going up on the screen right now. You've seen those ways before. You're probably very familiar with those. Those of you who are not, you can text to give. Those of you who are online, you can also text to give. The First Unity app is available in the App Store. When you get that app, you can click on the yellow heart, and that's actually a safe and secure way to give as well. You can go to firstunity.org/give. If you want to give on like a prescription basis or a subscription basis, you can do that. Also, you can just opt in for giving on a regular basis, and you can then actually move that into your budget. So some people prefer to budget that way. You can also mail a check or a money order to our P.O. Box.
Of course, you can give here in person. You can use our Cash App. It's a digital way to give. You can use the QR code that is on the plates that are going to be passed around, also going up on the screen right now. So I'm going to ask Reverend Aileen, if she will, to come and lead us in the abundance prayer, and then we'll ask the spiritual support team to come forward and prepare to receive the offerings.
All right, as we prepare to make our declaration, let's stand and together. The abundance of God is my infinite source. I now open my mind and my heart to give and receive all God's good, all God's prosperity, all God's abundance. As God as my source, all things are possible, and so it is. And thank you, ushers.
The end of the service, I get a chance to hug your necks on the way out or shake your hands, and however you feel comfortable with that, I want to share that moment with you. Reverend Aileen, thank you as always for your direction. Emmanuel Irna, thank you for sharing your gift with us and talent. Spiritual support team, thank you for everything you do to help this community. All right? Blessings, blessings, blessings. Everybody who is online, thank you for your continued support and being a sustaining partner with this ministry. Brandon and Gavin in the sound booth, thank you for all you do to make this happen. It's lovely. All right. And I want to ask us, if we will, I'm going to ask you to stretch your hand this way. We're going to do something a little different. Stretch your hand this way, and we're going to pray over this offering. Right now, we are grateful for these tithes and offerings that have been received into this house. We speak a blessing of multiplication over these offerings, not just for First Unity, but back to the individuals who have enacted the law of circulation today. We declare that multiplication is coming to them and to us all at the same time, in the name and the nature of the indwelling presence. Amen. All right, and I'll ask you now if you'll come together in the middle, and let's grab a hand if you feel comfortable doing so. We'll sing our peace song, pray our prayer of protection. Thank you all for being here early this morning.